Hello everyone. In this video I want to show you how to use Total Commander. In a previous video we installed this software and we also saw how to configure it. So we saw its basic configuration. Okay, so once you start it, you get this window with the X. You can close it, and in the future we will use it so often that I suggest that you put it on this tray, and then you can start it with just one click. Okay, now at the bottom you can see some buttons, and these are the function keys F3, F4, and it's also indicated what they do. We will cover it a bit later. And the big idea of this file manager, because Total Commander is a file manager, is that it has two panels, the left panel and the right panel, and you can switch between them. You can use the mouse. So at the moment the left panel is the active panel, and if you click on the right side, then the right panel will be active. So you can use the mouse, but I suggest that you put the mouse aside and now use just the keyboard. And if you want to switch between the two panels using the keyboard, then press the Tab key. And at the moment only one panel can be active, and here you can see this blue line. This is the selector line. You can move this selector line with the up and down arrows, and where the selector is, that panel is the active panel, and with Tab you can switch between the two panels. And we can execute different operations, like for instance copy. And the big idea is that when you want to copy something, then you copy it from somewhere to somewhere. So there is a source and there is a destination, and one panel will be the source and the other panel will be the destination. So you can always see from where you copy something to where, but we will see it immediately. First, let's start with the navigation. So we have already seen the Tab key. Then you can use the up and down arrows for moving the selector. You can also use page up and page down to jump one page up and down if you had more files, for instance. And you can also use the home key to jump to the top, and you can use the end key to jump to the bottom of this list. And okay, so I will create here some folders just for the example, for the sake of the example. And these are folders. AA is a folder. You can see this icon, it means it's a folder, and here it's also indicated that this is a directory. And below that you can see regular files. So directories and files, regular files, are separated. The dot dot at the top means the parent directory. And if you want to enter a directory, just move the selector on the folder and press enter, and then you will go inside the folder. Here you can also see the path of the current folder. Now we are in the folder BB. Dot dot means the parent. So if you move the selector on dot dot and you press enter, then you go up. You go up to the parent. Here if I press dot dot, I go to the root of the C drive. Now I go back to TMP. I move the selector on TMP and press enter, and then I entered this folder. If you want to go back to the parent directory, there is a shortcut. You can simply press the backspace. So for instance, I go to BB, then with backspace I go back, and the selector can be anywhere. If you press backspace, you go back to the parent. So backspace is actually equivalent to move to dot dot and then press enter. But backspace is just one key. And here on the left side we are on drive C. Here is a drop down menu. You can use the mouse and you can select another drive, for instance D. But if you don't want to use the mouse, you can simply press Alt and F1, and then you can select the drive. Now I am on the left side. If I want to change the drive on the right side, then I need to press Alt F2, and then for instance I select D, the D drive. Okay, at the bottom there is a command line which is only one line. What is it good for? For instance, you can start here the command line, the DOS window. You can start here the terminal, CMD, enter, and then a DOS window will open. Okay. Actually, you do not need to click here. You can be anywhere and just simply start typing CMD, enter. You can open a DOS window anytime, anywhere. Good. Now let's see the function keys at the bottom. F3 means view, and in a previous video we set that when we press F3 then the file will be opened with Notepad++. Okay, so for instance I want to see the content of this file vimrc. Move the selector on the file and press F3, and now you can see its content. With F4 you can edit a file, you can modify its content. Again, it will be opened with Notepad++. F5, I will talk about it a bit later. Now let's see F7. F7 will create a new folder. So here on the left side I want to create a folder, then F7, specify the name of the folder, for instance CC, enter, and then it is created, it's there. On the right side I switch back to drive C, so Alt F2, press C, and now we are on the C drive also. Now let's see how to copy a file. Let's see F5. And first, on one side, at the moment on the right side, you choose what you want to copy. For instance, I want to copy this file vimrc. On the left side, navigate to the folder where you want to copy. For instance, I want to copy to CC. I enter this folder. Okay. Move the selector on the file that you want to copy, press F5. Here the location of the other side of the other panel will appear. Usually you do not need to modify here anything, just press enter, and then this file is copied to the other side. And this is the great idea of Total Commander, that you have two panels. You can see from where you copy something to where. And Windows has this graphical interface, this graphical file manager called Explorer. But the problem with this, in my opinion, is that here you can only see just one panel. And if you want to copy something, for instance, I want to copy this file, Ctrl C, and if I want to copy it somewhere else, then I need to navigate away from here. Ctrl V, okay, I insert it here, but now I can only see the destination. I do not see the source. So if I need the source, I need to navigate back. So since it only shows just one panel, in my opinion, it's not too comfortable to use. That's why I prefer Total Commander. It has many advantages. So once again, if you want to copy a file, simply, now let's copy this test.txt, move the selector on it, F5, enter, and it is copied to the other side. Now I create a new folder, dd, and let's see how to copy several files. If you want to copy several files, then press insert, and then some files will be highlighted in red. Now I highlighted 3 files, and now if I press F5, then these 3 selected files will be copied to the other side. You can also copy folders, for instance bb, a file, several files, or several folders, no, bb and cc, okay? If you select folders, then they will be copied recursively. So press F5, enter, and they are copied to the other side. Okay, let's see F8, how to delete something. If you want to delete something, move the selector on it, press F8, and now Total Commander asks you if you are sure to delete it. You can change your mind, you can select no, or you can simply press escape, and then it won't be deleted. But if you want to delete it, then F8 and press enter, and it's gone. You can also delete a folder or several folders. Let's delete, for instance, bb, F8, enter. It's not empty. Do I really want to delete it? You can select all, and then it will be deleted recursively. Fine. And if you want to delete several things, now I will copy some files here on the left side. If you want to delete several things, simply select several files using the insert key, and then press F8, enter, and then those 2 files are deleted. Okay, now let's see F6. Now on the left side I will delete everything. F8, okay, all good. Now let's see F6. F6 has 2 functions actually. One is rename and the other one is move. For instance, vimrc. I want to rename it, and if you want to rename it, press F6 and here type in the new name, for instance vimarsi.txt, enter, and then as you can see it is renamed, it has a new extension. So it was the rename, and if you want to move, then move the selector on the file, press F6, do not type anything, just press enter, and then it will be copied to the other side, to the other panel. If you want to move several files, simply select several files, press F6, enter, and they are moved to the other side. Now I will move them back to the right side. Okay, so it was F6. We saw F7 and F8. You can also close Total Commander by pressing Alt F4. In Windows, with Alt F4 you can close any window. Now let's see how to select several files by using a pattern. For this we will use the plus key, the minus key, and the star, the asterisk. And these keys are here on the right side of the keyboard, on the numpad. And if, for instance, I want to select everything in this folder, then press the plus sign and then leave star dot star. Press enter and then everything will be selected. As you can see, not only the files but the folders are also selected. If you enter a subfolder and if you come back, then the selection is gone. Okay, now I make a copy of this test file, for instance F5, and the new name should be test2.txt. Okay, now we have two txt files, and let's say I want to select all the txt files. Then press plus and now modify this to star.txt, enter, and now only the txt files are selected. Good. Now if some files are selected and you want to remove the selection, then you can press the minus button. Let's change it back to star.star, and then the selection is taken off. But if I have a log file selected and two txt files, and I want to remove the selection from the txt files, then star.txt, sorry, press the minus, star.txt, and then these two files are deselected. Okay, and there is another useful key, the star, or we can call it asterisk, which will invert the selection. So now three files are selected. If you press the star, then the inverse will be selected. And for instance, it's also very useful to quickly select everything. It's enough to press just the star and then everything is selected. Why? Because nothing was selected, and if you invert it, then everything will be selected. If you press again, then nothing will be selected. So it's a very easy way to select or deselect everything. Okay, now how to position this cursor, this selector, on a file or folder quickly. For instance, I want to move the selector on this utils folder. You can click on it, but if you do not want to use the mouse, then press Alt, keep it pressed, and then press the key U. Oh, okay, it jumped to users, but if I press T, then it will jump to utils. Similarly, if I want to jump to the folder work, Alt and W, and then here you can see this search bar, continue typing O, and it will jump there. Press escape, and then this search bar will disappear and the selector is there. It's very useful if you have hundreds of files or hundreds of folders and you know the name of the file or folder, then using this technique you can find it very quickly. At the bottom we saw this command line. It's only one line. Okay. Another operation that we need often is that we are in a folder, for instance on the right side, and on the left side I want to see the same folder. How to do that? Here on the right side we are on drive C. So if you select drive C on the left side, then on the left side it will show you the same folder. So how to do that? Press Alt F1 and press C, and as you can see you are in the same folder. Let's see another example. I go to TMP and EE, and I also want to see the same folder on the right side. Then press Alt F2, C, same drive, and we are in the same folder. Good. Okay. In Total Commander you can also use bookmarks. So for instance, here is this folder trash, and let's say that here you have lots of useful things. You store here lots of useful things, so you need to move to this folder very often. Then you can put a bookmark on this folder. How to do it? Press Ctrl D, this comes up, and say add, click on add current dir. Okay, give it a name. It will be the name of the bookmark, for instance trash. Okay, it is registered. And let's put another folder in the bookmark. For instance, we are in C/\tmp. I also want a bookmark. I also want to put a bookmark on this folder. So press Ctrl D again, give it a name. So add current dir. Its name can remain TMP. Enter. Okay. And if you want to move to a folder that is bookmarked, then press Ctrl D, and here select where you want to jump. So it's a quick jump, trash, and you are in trash immediately. If you want to jump to TMP, here select TMP and you are there. So it's also very useful, and you can create lots of bookmarks, several bookmarks. If you want to remove a bookmark, then simply choose configure, and then for instance you do not need this bookmark TMP, then delete item, and it's gone. Okay, and now we only have trash. Fine. Another useful thing is to switch the two panels. How to do that? Press Ctrl U, and then the two panels will be switched. Okay. With Ctrl R, you can refresh the content of the active panel. It's useful if you use another program and in this folder you create a new subfolder or file using that other program, and then you come back to Total Commander and that file or folder doesn't appear here. Then press Ctrl R and then this folder will be refreshed and the new content will appear. Sometimes you want to paste here the name of the current object. For instance, the current object is test.txt. If you press Ctrl Enter, then its name will be inserted here in this command line. If you want to remove it, press Escape and then it will be gone. You can also use it for folder names. Ctrl Enter, it will be inserted. If you do not need it, press Escape. And if you want to figure out the size of a folder, move the selector on it and press space. In a previous video we installed Python 3 in this folder, and the size of this folder is 94 megabytes. Okay, if you want to remove the selection, press enter, enter a folder, come back, and the selection is gone. Okay, of course there are a lot more possibilities, features in Total Commander, but you won't need all of them. I also use just a fraction of its features, but I think these are the most important features. But it's up to you to discover the other possibilities. Okay, thank you for your attention and see you later.